everyone, it's Nadia from YARNutopia. Today we are making number 225 Granny Square of our 365 days of Granny Squares. This one is the Easy Skull Square designed by Sandra. She has actually given us permission to allow us to use this pattern in our big project. If you check out the links in the description of this video, there will be a link to her written pattern on Ravelry. Her written pattern is a Ravelry download, and it actually has it in English and in Swedish. So you can, if you speak Swedish language, you can follow along that way too. But this square is a lot bigger than the other squares we've made this year, but it did turn out so fabulously. And I think if you made a bunch of these squares and sewed them together, you could make a big blanket for Halloween or something, or anybody who loves skulls. It's a great pattern, and she has other patterns on her Ravelry that have skulls in them too, like a skull shawl I saw on there, so that's really cool too, so you can check that out. This square measures across for me 10 inches, which is about 26 centimeters. And I used a much smaller hook today. I normally use an H size hook, but today I highly recommend using an E size hook, which is what the pattern calls for, which is a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. So this is the only one that in the 365 days of Granny Squares that I've used a smaller hook for to demonstrate, but I normally use an H size hook, which is 5 millimeters. So if you wanted to, your square may turn out to be a 12-inch square if you use the H size crochet hook, but you don't have to. You can use an E size hook and it will turn out to be about 10 inches. But like I said, it is such a cool granny square design, and we're actually working in rows. We're not even working from the middle out. We're working in rows from the bottom up, so that's really an interesting design, but it does use the traditional granny stitch, which is the 3 double crochet stitches. So that's fun. So make sure you do check out those links in the description of this video. Like I said, there will be the link to the written pattern. And then there's also a link to my blog, YARNutopia.com, where you'll get all 365 days of Granny Squares. And at the bottom, there will be that list of the ones that have written patterns available to you. So you will see number 225, Easy Skull Square by Sandra. So you can click that and follow along with that. Also, there's a link to my Facebook and Instagram. Make sure to follow me on both platforms and share your photos. I'd absolutely love to see what color you choose today. And at the end of this video, I actually mentioned that if you made the eyes, the eye parts a different color and then embellished this with little dots or something, you could make like different colors. You could make like a sugar skull design. It's really interesting. So also share your photos on Instagram and hashtag 365 days of Granny Squares and hashtag YARNutopia so I can see your square as well. And I have to say a big thank you to my dad, Fuad, Azmat, for taking the time to make these videos with us. He is our videographer, editor, and photographer for all of our videos. So make sure you subscribe to our channel and click that in the top right corner, right up here somewhere. There's an eye. You can click that and support us in any way you can. Otherwise, if you go to our channel, there is that blue button that says support on the right hand side. You can also click that too and support us in any way you can so that we can keep bringing you crochet tutorials. So let's get started in making number 225 Granny Square. Okay, we have to start out by making the eyes first and making them separate. So let's make a slip knot. So put your short end over your long end, then fold this down and pull this through. Pull tight, insert your hook, and we can start. So for the eyes, we need to chain 14. So yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, okay? Then we're going to slip stitch to the very first chain. So come all the way to the beginning here, and we're going to slip stitch in that chain. So go into the first chain made, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Okay, and that makes 1 eye hole. Now we need to chain 14 again. So yarn over and pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. And then we're going to come all the way back down to that same chain that we slip stitched into right here. We're going to go back into there for another slip stitch. So go in, you can kind of turn this upside down if you want to, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Okay, so there makes 2 eye holes. Then we are going to work 18 single crochets into each loop. Okay, so we're going to first go into this loop here. I'm going to slip stitch into there, so go in, yarn over, pull through, and through. And then I'm going to chain up 1, and then I'm going to put 18 single crochets in there. So single crochets go into the loop, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, that's a single crochet. So again, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 2. This is 3, 4, 5. You can see I'm working kind of around the chain, and I'm working over my straggler as well. See, just like that. There's my little loose end straggler. So I'm working over the top of that so I don't have to sew that in later. And we're just making 18 single crochets into this loop, and then hop to the next loop and make 18 single crochets in there. And then once I have my 36 single crochets, then I will meet you up and we'll go on to the next step. Alright, just finishing this second eye hole there. So now this is what you should have, something that looks a little like this. And now we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet of this round. Okay, so not the chain up 1 right here, but into the single crochet, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. So now you should have 18 single crochets into each chain space here. And then we're going to fasten this off. So chain 1 and cut this yarn. Pull it all the way through and pull tight. Now we're going to set this aside and we are going to work on our square. So just put it aside and start with we're going to do this in the same color. If you want to, you can have your eyes be the different color and use a different color for the skull square, but I'm going to use the same color all around. So just make another slip knot. So put your short end over your long end, fold this down, and then pull that through and pull tight. Insert your hook, and we can start making the square part. But when we get to row 8, we are going to be using this again. Okay, so I'm just going to set that aside until we get to row 8. And we're working from the bottom up on this one. So we're going to chain 50. So yarn over, pull through, 1, yarn over, pull through, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I won't make you watch all 50 chains, so just chain 50 and we can go on to round 1 next. Alright, so this is what your chain 50 should look like, just a bunch of chains here. Okay, and mine turned out to be about 9 inches across with this E hook, so just keep that in mind. So now we're going to work in the 3rd chain from the hook. We are going to put a double crochet. So the loop on the hook doesn't count as anything. So count 1, 2, and 3. In this chain here, we're going to put a double crochet. But what I'm going to actually do, you can see your chain looking like this. I'm going to actually turn mine toward me, and you can see these back ridges here. Okay, I am actually going to work into those ridges on this row. So row 1, we have to double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3 right in here, yarn over, go into that chain, then yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through those other 2 loops on your hook. Okay, and we're going to double crochet in the next 2 chains. So yarn over, go into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, and the next chain, another double crochet. So yarn over, go in, oopsie, make sure you're going into the right spot of the chain, So yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. The reason I work in the back ridges is just so that this end then on this side is a clean edge and it looks really nice on that. So that's just my personal preference though. So there's 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to chain 2, so yarn over, pull through 1 and 2. We're going to skip the next 2 chains and we're going to double crochet in the next 3 chains. Okay, so double crochet 1, next stitch or next chain 2, and the next chain 3. Okay, then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and repeat. So skip the next 2 chains. 2 chains would be like so happy about this video here. If you guys know about the 2 chains reference, click like on this video because this is a 2 chains reference video. So then double crochet in the next 3 chains. So double crochet. And this row is really super simple. If you see the written pattern, it's just, you know, 3 double crochet in the next 3 chains, then chain 2, skip the next 2 chains, then 3 double crochets in a row, and repeat. So just keep doing that all the way across here. And then once I come up to the end, so it looks like a basic granny stitch if you see we're doing that all the way across. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to work my double crochet groupings, and then at the end of this row I'll meet you up so that we can go on to row 2. Alright, I'm just finishing up row 1. We want to end this row with 3 double crochets, just like this, 1 in each of the last 3 chains. Okay, and then we can go on to row 2, so see how it looks here. This is how it should look all the way across. So now going on to row 2, we want to actually chain up 5, so yarn over and pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to turn our work just like this. And then we're going to put 3 double crochets in the first chain space. So right over here, we're going to put 3 double crochets into the chain space. So 1, 2, and 3 double crochets, all in that same space, just like that. Okay, and kind of like a granny stitch. Then we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. We're going to skip over all 3 of these double crochets and then put 3 double crochets in the next chain space. And we're just going to do that all the way across. So 3 double crochets in this chain space, and then chain 2, and then put 3 double crochets in the next chain space. And oh my goodness, don't go too crazy. But just keep doing that all the way across. Basic granny stitches, just 3 double crochets in each chain space, making sure you chain 2 between the groupings, and then I'll meet you up for row 3. To finish this round, we need to chain 2 and then double crochet into the last stitch on this row. So you see there's 3 double crochets there, 1, 2, 3. We're going to double crochet into this last stitch right there. Okay, so yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so that was row 2. So now going on to row number 3, we're going to chain up 2. So yarn over, pull through 1 and 2. That doesn't really count as anything. We're just going to turn our work around. And now in this first chain space, we are going to put 3 double crochets in there. So yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to just kind of repeat what we did on the last round, last row. So chain 2. Okay, skip over these 3 double crochets and put 3 double crochets in the next chain space. Okay, and just then chain 2, put 3 double crochets in the next chain space, and chain 2, put 3 double crochets in the next chain space, and just keep repeating that until the end of this row, and then I'll meet you up when I'm finishing row 3. We'll go on to row 4 together. Alright, finishing row 3 here, we want to chain 2, and then in this last chain 5 space here, we're actually going to put 3 double crochets in there. So finish this row with 3 double crochets, and then going on to row 4, we need to chain 5. So yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Turn your work around. Okay, and then we're going to put 3 double crochets into the very next chain space. This is the row we're going to start to make our skull. So put 3 double crochets in the next chain space right here. So 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 2, 1, 2. Then 3 double crochets in the next chain space. 1, 2, 3, then chain 2, 1, 2, and then put 3 double crochets in the next chain space. 1, 2, 3, then chain 2, 1, 2, and now we're going to put 3 double crochets in the next chain space. 1, 2, 3, and then it says to chain 6. So yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going to skip these 3 double crochets right here and this chain space right here, and we're going to skip over these 3 double crochets here, and we're going to put 3 double crochets into the next chain space. Okay, so 3 double crochets in here. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, just like that. So you can see how I skipped that chain space right there. And then we're just going to finish off this row just like that. So chain 2, put 3 double crochets in the next chain space. Then chain 2, put 3 double crochets in the next chain space, then chain 2, 3 double crochets in the next chain space, and then chain 2, and then double crochet in the very last stitch of this row. So there's 3 stitches here, 1, 2, 3. We're going to double crochet into the very last stitch right here. Okay, so yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, just like that. All right, going on to row 5, we want to chain up 2, 1 and 2, turn this work around. Okay, then we want to put 3 double crochets into this first space right here. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then we want to chain 2, 1, 2, put 3 double crochets in the next space. 1, 2, 3, then chain 2, 1, 2, put 3 double crochets in the next space. 1, 2, 3, then chain 2, and then put 3 double crochets in the next space. And then we're going to, let's see here, chain 5, so yarn over, pull through, 1, whoops, yarn over, pull through, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we're going to put 4 single crochets into the chain 6 space. So single crochets go into the chain 6 space, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. That's a single crochet. So that was 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, then we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and then we're going to put 3 double crochets in the next chain space over here. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3, then chain 2, 1, 2, and then make your granny stitches to the end of this row. I'll meet you up when we're going to go on to the next row. Alright, I'm just putting 3 double crochets in this last, this chain 5 space here. Okay, so that was row 5, just like that. So now going on to row 6, we are going to chain up 5, so yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Turn our work around, and now we're going to put 3 double crochets into this next chain space right here. So put 3 double crochets in there. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then chain 2. Put 3 double crochets in the next chain space. 1, 2, 3. Then chain 2, 1, 2, and 3 double crochets in the next chain space. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 6, so yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we're going to work into these single crochets, each one of these single crochets. We're actually going to make the teeth of the skull right now. So we're going to make a double crochet into the first single crochet of this 4 single crochet grouping here. So yarn over, go into the single crochet, the first one, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Then chain 1 and double crochet in the next single crochet. Then chain 1, double crochet in the next single crochet. Then chain another 1, and then double crochet in the last single crochet. Okay, so there's our teeth for our skull. And then we're going to chain 6, so yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to put 3 double crochets in the very next chain space. So we're going to skip over this chain space here and skip over these 3 double crochets and then put 3 double crochets in this space right here. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 2, 1, 2, and put 3 double crochets in the next. 1, 2, 3. Then chain 2, 1, 2, put 3 double crochets in the next, 1, 2, and 3, and then chain 2, 1, 2, and now we're going to double crochet in the last stitch on this row. So you can see here there's 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. We're going to yarn over and go into this last one, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Okay. So that was row 6. Awesome. Going on to row 7, we're going to chain up 2, 1, 2. We're going to turn our work around like this. We're going to put 3 double crochets into this first chain space here. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to put 3 double crochets in the next chain space. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 2 and put 3 double crochets in the next chain space. 1, whoops, 1, there we go, 2, and 3. Okay, then we're going to actually chain 6, so yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we're going to put 2 single crochets in the chain space right before the double crochets. So this chain space right here, we're going to put 2 single crochets in there. So go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And again, go back in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we're going to single crochet in each double crochet and chain space. So single crochet into this double crochet, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Go into the chain 1 space between the double crochets and make a single crochet. Then this double crochet gets a single crochet, and then this chain space gets 1, then this double crochet gets 1, then this chain space gets 1, and this double crochet gets 1. Then we're going to put 2 single crochets in this chain space right here. Okay, and so if you need to count back, there should be 11 single crochets in a row. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're just going to finish off this row with our granny stitches. So put 3 double crochets into this next chain space. 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 2, 1, 2, put 3 double crochets in this chain 2 space, and then chain 2, and then put 3 double crochets in the last chain space. Okay, and now we can go on to row 8. Make sure to get those eyes, these eyes that we had set aside before. We're going to put those on now, right over here. Ooh, spooky. So get those out and we will go on to row 8. Going on to row 8, you want to start out by chaining 5. So yarn over, pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to turn our work like this. Okay, so now we're looking at it like this. Now, on my skull pattern, it looks like I'm looking at the back of my skull, and the reason I can see that is because these stitches, just the way they look to me, look backwards. So I'm going to, you can see here on this eye, this is the top of the eyes, just because the stitches, these stitches around are sort of facing upward, and then if you turn this around, you can't see those stitches. So that's the back, okay? So I'm going to actually work on it backward, like this. Okay, I'm going to set it here for now, but obviously it looks wonky, but we'll fix that. So we're going to now first do this part here, and then we'll attach this as we go. So what we're going to do over here is put 3 double crochets into this chain 2 space. So 1, 2, and 3, then chain 2, 1, 2, hop to the next chain 3 space, or I'm sorry, chain 2 space, and put 3 double crochets in there. 1, 2, and 3. And now we are going to chain 8. So yarn over and pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now we are going to grab the eye. Okay, you can see here, this is the front. I'm going to work on it backward here. And you can see here, there are, from the middle, okay, starting from the middle, you can see 1 single crochets on this side and 1 single crochets on this side. Let me grab my yarn needle. It's somewhere around here. Here it is. Okay, so this is the middle right here. Okay, and you can see there's a single crochet on this side and this single crochet on this side. We're going to count from this side, and we're going to count 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Into this one right here is where we're going to go. And you can see here, I'm only working in that back loop. Okay, we usually go through both loops like this, but I'm only going to work in that back loop like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is slip stitch into that stitch. Okay, so we're going to go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right in here, go in, okay, to the back loop only from underneath it. Then yarn over, pull through and through. Okay, that's a slip stitch. And we're going to do the same thing to the next one. So go into this next one, back loop only, yarn over, pull through and through. Now we're going to work into the stitches, these single crochets from round 7 right here. So we're going to, let's see here, put single crochet in the next 4 stitches, working in the stitches from round 7 and the next 4 stitches on our eyes here. So, and I'm only going to work in the back loops only. So as you can see here, our first single crochet is here, and I'm working in the back loop, as you can see, back loop only. We usually go through both, but I'm going to go through the back loop only. And then we're working in the back loop of this eye right here, okay? We're going to take our yarn and yarn over and pull through, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops for a single crochet, okay? Then we're going to go into the next stitch right here, and the next stitch, so back loop only on that one, then the next stitch on the eye, okay, on the back loop only, yarn over, pull through both layers, then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, so that's 2. Next one, back loop only on this, the square part, our body of our project, and then the eye, back loop only of the eye, yarn over, pull through, and through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So that's 3. Next one will be 4. Okay, then we are going to skip the next 4 stitches on our eyes, and we're going to slip stitch in the next 3 stitches on our body here. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to slip stitch into the back loop only. Okay, so now we're going to drop the eye. We're just going to go right here into this next stitch, slip stitch. So go in, yarn over, pull through, and through. Next stitch, go into the back loop only, yarn over, pull through, and through. And the next stitch, go into the back loop only, yarn over, pull through, and through. Now we're going to go into the back loop of the next stitch. We're going to bring the eyes back down here. We're going to skip these 4 stitches like I had said. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to go into this stitch right here. Okay, so go into that stitch, back loop only, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, and the next 4. So that was 1, go into this one, and this one, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And the next one. Back loop, back loop. Okay, and then we have 1 more right here. Go in, and then on the eyes, there we go. Alright, now we're going to put slip stitch in the back loop only of the eye part only. So in this next stitch right up here, go in, yarn over, pull through, and through, and the next on the eyes part only, slip stitch. Okay, just like how we did in the front and the beginning of those eyes, we slip stitched into those 2 stitches there. Then we're going to chain 8, so yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're going to hop all the way over here to the between these groupings, and we're going to put 3 double crochets in there. So 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 2, 1, 2, and put 3 double crochets into this next space, this next chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to double crochet into the last stitch on this row. So you see there's 1, 2, 3 stitches. Yarn over, go into the very last one, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, and there it is. So now you can kind of lay this flat a little bit so you can see that the skull is actually taking shape. If you turn this around, let's go right into round 9. How about, so chain up 2, 1 and 2, turn your work around, so now you can see that that actually does look like a skull, and that looks really cool. Okay, so now for round 9, let me get all this, my stragglers everywhere. Okay, we're going to put 3 double crochet into this first grouping, or this first space here. So put 3 double crochets in there. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, then put 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to chain 8. Okay, so yarn over, pull through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now we're going to slip stitch in 16 stitches of the eye. So you can see here we're going to go 8 over. So you can see the center here where I fastened off right here. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right in here we're going to slip stitch, but I'm going to work in the back loops only. Okay, so I'm going to go into this back loop instead. I'll take this out, back loop only, and we're going to slip stitch in 8 stitches, or I guess 16 stitches across the whole eyes. It'll be 8 on this side and 8 on this side. Okay, so go in, then yarn over, pull through and through. Okay, that's 1. Next stitch, 2. Next stitch, 3. Next is 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so that side is done. Going on to the next side. This first one is kind of hidden where my slip stitch is, so we have to kind of separate this a little bit so I can see my stitch. Go in, yarn over, pull through and through, so that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, then we're going to chain 8, so yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we're going to hop all the way over here and put 3 double crochets into this next space. 1, 2, 3, then chain 2, 1, 2, and then put 3 double crochets in this last space right here. And then we'll go on to round 10. Alright, for row 10 we want to chain 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to turn our work around like this. Okay, and then we're going to work in this first chain space right here. We're going to put, let's see here, 3 double crochets in there. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to skip over these 3 double crochets, and we're going to actually put 3 double crochets into this chain 8 space right here. So yarn over, go into the chain 8 space and put 3 double crochets in there. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then we're going to chain 6, so yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to single crochet across the top of these eyes here, but first we're going to skip the first 2 slip stitches, so you can see our slip stitches right here. We're going to work into our slip stitches. Okay, just like that. It might be a little difficult, but we'll get through it. We're going to skip the first 2, so this one and this one, and single crochet into the next 12. So this is 1. So we're just single crocheting into them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there should be 6 on each eye, basically. 7, 8, oops, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, then we're going to skip the last 2 of these slip stitches, these last 2 here, and then we're going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to put 3 double crochets into this chain 8 space right here. Oopsie, that's a single crochet. You have to yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Then we want to, you can kind of scoot them over closer to these groupings here. Then we can chain 2 and put 3 double crochets in the next chain space. 1, 2, 3, and then chain 2, 1, 2, and then double crochet into the last stitch right here. So yarn over, go into the last double crochet of this row, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Alright, our skull is really coming together. Well, that's the back side. Okay, so let's turn our work around. This is the front side, you can see here. Looking good. So now going right into round 11, we're going to chain up 2, 1 and 2. We already turned our work, and we're going to put 3 double crochets into this same chain space right here. So put 3 double crochets in there. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 2, put 3 double crochets into this next space here. And then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to put 3 double crochets into this chain 6 space right here. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to skip the first 2 single crochets of this these 12 here. We're going to skip the first 2, and we're going to put 8 single crochets. So skip the first 2, put a single crochet in the next 8 stitches. So 1, next stitch, 2, next stitch, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're going to skip the last 2 stitches, and we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to put 3 double crochets into this chain 6 space. So yarn over and go in, make your 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And like I showed you in the last row, kind of scoot these over to the end there. Then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and put 3 double crochets into the next chain space. And then chain 2. And then we're going to put 3 double crochets into this last chain space here. Alright, then we can go on to row 12. So chain up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn your work around. Okay, you can kind of stretch it out a little bit. Okay, we're going to put 3 double crochets into this chain space here. 1, 2, 3, then chain 2. 1, 2, put 3 double crochets in this chain space here. 1, 2, 3, then chain 2. 1, 2, then put 3 double crochets into this next chain 6 space right here. 1, 2, and 3. Then we need to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to skip the first single crochet right here. Skip the first one, and then single crochet in the next 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then skip the last single crochet right here and chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put 3 double crochets into this chain 6 space right here. It's 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 2. 1, 2. Put 3 double crochets in this next chain space. 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 2. 1, 2. Put 3 double crochets in this next chain space. 1, 2, 3. Then chain 2. 1, 2. And then put a double crochet in the last stitch on this row. Alright, and then we can go on to row 13. For row 13, we have to chain up 2, 1 and 2, turn our work around, okay, and then we're going to put 3 double crochets into this first chain space here. So 3 double crochets in there, 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 2, 1, 2, put 3 double crochets in the next space. Then chain 2, and then put 3 double crochets in the next space. 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 2, 1, 2, put 3 double crochets in this chain 6 space. 1, 2, 3. Then chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to skip this first single crochet here. And we're going to single crochet in the middle 4 single crochets. And we're going to skip that last one. So just single crochet in these next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So skip that last single crochet there. And then chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure you put 3 double crochets in this chain 6 space right here. So 3 double crochets in there. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you can kind of scoot those all the way over. And then chain 2. Put 3 double crochets in the next chain space. And then chain 2. And then 3 double crochets in the next chain space, then chain 2, and then put 3 double crochets in the last chain space, this like chain 5 space basically, right here. Put 3 double crochets in there. Okay, and that was a pretty simple row 13. So now we can go on to row 14. We're going to chain up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to turn our work around. We're going to put 3 double crochets into this next chain space. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2, 1, 2, 3 double crochets in the next chain space. Then chain 2. 3 double crochets in the next chain space, then chain 2, and we're going to put, let's see here, 4 times, so 3 double crochets in this chain space, chain 2, 3 double crochets in this chain space, chain 2, 3 double crochets, so we have to put 3 double crochets in this chain 6 space, 1, 2, and 3. Then, so after you make these 3 double crochets, we have to hop over to this this chain space here, but we have to chain 6. So yarn over, pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, skip over all of these single crochets here, hop into this chain space here, and put 3 double crochets in there. Okay. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then we're going to just finish off this row, so chain 2, put 3 double crochets into the next chain space, then chain 2, put 3 double crochets in the next chain space, 1, 2, and 3, then chain 2, put 3 double crochets in the next chain space, then chain 2, and then double crochet in the last stitch on this row right here, this last double crochet, put 1 double crochet in there. Now we can go on to the next row, row 15. We're going to chain up 2, turn our work, put 3 double crochets into this first chain space, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then chain 2, put 3 double crochets in the next chain space, 1, 2, 3, then chain 2, 3 double crochets in the next chain space, then chain 2, and 3 double crochets in the next chain space. Okay, then we're going to chain 2, and now we're going to work into this chain 6 space. We're going to put 3 double crochets in there. So 1, 2, 3, then chain 2, 1, 2, and then put 3 more double crochets in there. 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 2, put 3 double crochets in the next chain space, and just work that same pattern all the way across. So chain 2 in between, put 3 double crochets in each chain space, and then I'll meet you up for row 16. Alright, for row 16 we're going to chain up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, turn our work around, and we're going to put 3 double crochets into this chain space, then chain 2, put 3 double crochets in the next chain space, and then chain 2, and then just keep working that, repeat all the way across, and then I'll meet you up at the last stitch because we're going to double crochet in the last stitch, and then we'll go on to row 17. Alright, finishing this row, we need to chain 2 and then double crochet into the very last stitch of this row. We've done this in previous rows, so I just wanted to show you how to do that. And now we can go on to our last row. So chain up 2, turn your work, okay, and then we're just going to do the basic granny stitch across. So 3 double crochets in each chain space, and then chain 2 in between the groupings, okay, and then that's it. So then I'll meet you up when we can fasten off. Alright, just finishing up this square. I have just 3 double crochets left, and then we can fasten off. Now you can decide if you want to single crochet around the whole piece, but that's not in the written pattern, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to chain 1, cut this yarn, and pull that all the way through, pull it tight, and then sew in the end. So we're just going to grab my yarn needle, yarn my needle, and sew in this end underneath these stitches, just like that. Okay, and there you have it. Number 225 granny square is complete. It looks so fabulous. And yeah, I know it turned out way bigger than our other squares that we've used this year, but it is so beautiful. I absolutely love it. Kind of spooky with the skull, but it looks really good, and that was a really nice written pattern by Sandra. So make sure you check out those links in the description of this video. Link to the written pattern, link to the blog, link to the Facebook. Make sure to share your photos. I definitely want to see, you know, I was thinking actually if you made like the eyes when we first started this video, making the eyes one color and then kind of embellishing your skull to make it kind of like a sugar skull design. That'd be kind of cool. Or you can just do the one color design for the whole piece and make it that way. So thank you so much for watching. Until tomorrow, happy hooking!